how did Paul deal with things like Adam's age in the Bible when he was a believer?
I just accepted that on its face value. Like I didn't think. I've now come to think that probably it was some mix of they probably believed it, but that there were also figurative numbers. It's amazing how all the patriarchs, their ages ended at double zeros, right? Like they lived exactly that long, and I don't know. Like for me, I didn't seem implausible that Adam would live 900 years. Like that didn't seem and then some of the notions that, oh well, how did Moses end up being able to have all the knowledge that he would need to write the whole Pentateuch? Well, all of a sudden the difference, all of a sudden, like these generations are all living side by side, right? Because they're living so long. So that reduces some of the plausibility. I don't know. How did you deal with the ages? Like for me, if you're going to buy into donkeys are talking and snakes are talking and virgin births and all that kind of stuff, someone living for a long time isn't the biggest of the plausibility problems.
I remember I started reading my children's Bible when I was, I don't know, grade 7 or something, just randomly. And I got up to the part where it's like, and Noah was 300 years old. And I was like, when he finished the ark, and I remember looking at, like, raising an eyebrow at the text and going, come on, like, really? Like, and I remember just thinking, that's, and then just pushing it to the side of my brain, like, oh, well, I'm sure there's an answer for that somewhere.
So also the way it was depicted to me in art and things like that was kind of a Highlander situation
I
where
haven't seen Highlander.
but the premise in Highlander is at some point you stop, or a vampire situation. Maybe a vampire is more familiar, right? At some point you just, oh, that's the point where you become immortal. And whatever
Yeah.
age you are there, you're just kind of locked into that age. Probably in my mind, Noah at 80 and Noah at 300 looked identical. Like that they were just, that was part of God's process. And or, I mean, because we also have to imagine, so Cain and Abel, that situation happens, right? The sons of Adam and Eve. And we have to, I always forget which killed which. Cain killed Abel. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Cain needs to, he's afraid when God wants to punish him. He's like, oh, but the people out there, they're going to hurt me. So you now have to think, oh, well, they are young enough that Adam and Eve had enough kids to populate a whole other town, right? Because there has to be a whole other town worth of people to send him to. So then you actually kind of need, yeah. So those are all his brothers and sisters, but you also then kind of need Adam to be 900, because we're not imagining that Eve's still only having one baby a year. So
does she go through menopause still at 50? Like,
yeah, presumably, like, yeah, you're not at 50. No, I'm probably at
500
at 600 or something. Yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, D, I'm curious what you think, but
yeah. I do remember D saying that she first heard about it in, I think, kids' church. I think this was you, D, and you said you first heard about it in kids' church and you laughed because you thought they were joking. But that, yeah, it's wild.